Hello everyone, welcome to AI Anytime channel. In this video, we are going to build a simple translation app using Qwen model. So Qwen is a large language model and we're going to use the 1.5 billion parameter instruct model, which is smaller in size but extremely powerful. And we're going to build a translation service. A translation, I'll say not a service, we're going to build a translation Gradio app that will help you translate from English to Japanese, Chinese, so on and so forth. You can add more. And this is completely a beginner level tutorial. So if you are someone who already has expertise or experience with generative AI, you should not waste your time watching this video. You should watch this video if you are a beginner and want to build hobby projects or you want to build projects to add that in your resume or a CV. So let's see how we can build a simple translation and also we can add chat into it, an application, using Gradio, and that also we can bring up an uh, text to speech part into it as well, how the generated output can be spoken, by a text to speech service like GTTS or something like that. So let's jump in and see how we can do that. Now, I'll just wear off my glasses. If you look at here on my screen, I'm already on Qwen 2, the second, I'll say version of this family. They earlier released Qwen 2, for Qwen 2, blah, blah, blah. And you can read more about it this year. It's the instruct model. They also have a base version of this. And now this is the instruct, which is good for chat. And probably they would have applied some chat template. Whenever you see instruct, then model has been, that's a fine-tuned product, from a base model. So when you see instruct, somebody has, taken a model and basically instruct tune has given instructions in the training data, so it performs well, in chat kind of a session. Okay, and that's what instruction tuned models are. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I already have, installed few libraries. I'm going to use Accelerate, GTTS, Gradio, Transformers. Accelerate, library that helps you with optimization techniques. You can inference LLMs faster. Accelerate, you know it. There are like deep speed as well that helps you run LLMs faster on multiple GPUs as well. Then we have GTTS, which is a Python library, for text to speech kind of a thing. We have Gradio, Python library again that helps you build user interfaces. That basically some kind of simple web applications. But yeah, you can do some hobby projects with that. And transformers. I hope you know about it. Python library to basically do a lot of things with AI model. You can train, fine tune, inference using transformers model. Okay. Now, excuse me, transformers. Yeah, transformers model. You can say it's a library as well. Now, what I'm going to do is you can see I'm on a GPU. L4 GPU is even on consumer GPUs like T4. If you have Tesla T4, you'll be able to run this tutorial. You don't need a high-end GPU to run it. Even on CPUs, you can run it, but the inference will be extremely slower. Now, once you install all of this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say from transformers. Now, you have to get auto model for causal LM and auto tokenizer. So what I'm going to do is from transformers import auto model. You need auto model for causal LM, and you can see it's showing me here. Yeah, but this is stupid. Okay. Auto model for causal LM and auto tokenizer, import torch, gradio as gr, and then I'm going to have from gttts import gttts. Okay. I'm using pro version of Colab. That's why I have this auto suggestions coming up. If you are on free version, you will not see auto suggestions. Now, what I'm going to do is, and you might see a basic auto suggestions. Okay, now you can see I'm written a line of code which says device equals CUDA if torch CUDA dot is available else CPU. So what does it mean? It means that if GPU is available on this notebook environment, then you use that CUDA device. Otherwise, you use the CPU of that. Okay, pretty much simple. Now let's define the language model. So what I want to do is language model and probably make it a bit more explanatory. Language model name, and this is my model name. You can see this is the model from Hugging Face that we are taking. So we're gonna just define the here. Okay. language model name, and then I'm gonna use auto model for causal LM. Now causal LM is used for generating something, generating text or tokens or words, whatever you call it, characters, doesn't matter. Now we deal with majorly two types of model, guys. One is the causal LM, the task, not the model. Two types of task. One is causal LM and the other is mask language modeling, which is like MLM, where you fill some missing tokens. Now imagine if you have a word called I eat mango, and now if you keep eat as blank, so I mango, and if you ask a model to fill that, so they can basically say I eat, I know, I produce, I farm, blah blah blah, that as a token that go fit into that sentence. That basically the mask language modeling. Then we have the causal LM, which is more for generating something, which is a text or a character, as I said. So here we are using that. So let me just do language underscore model, and in the language underscore model I'm going to use auto model for causal LM. Excuse me, I don't need the all. So auto model for causal LM dot from underscore pre-trained, pre excuse me, pre-trained, and here I'll just in the pre-trained. Now here I'm going to define. So first is my language model name, and then you define what is the D type, which is your tensor. So I'm going to keep it at data type. So I'm going to keep that as auto because I'm on CUDA. I have because the model is not that large, and then let's keep device map as auto as well. And then I'm going to have tokenizer. So auto tokenizer for pre-train. What I'm saying is that use the same tokenizer from that model that you have, not any other tokenizer. Let's just bring up this here. Now, once you run it, it takes a bit of time to basically get the model files and everything. And once you are okay with it, we'll be okay. Okay, now you can see it's getting the model files and everything. Now, what I'm going to do is I already have written a function just to save some time, but I will explain that. Pretty standard function, guys. I'll explain it here. Oh, what happened? I didn't copy that. Okay. Okay, it seems I didn't copy. You can see the model is there. Now what I'm gonna do is if I okay, that's language model. Let's do that. Yeah, let's do language model. Now once you do the language model, you can see the entire pipeline of that model. You can see Qwen2 for causal LM, the model embedding tokens, layers, and everything. Now I'm gonna do a control A and control C. Hopefully I copied it. Now this is the function. Let me explain that here, what's it doing. Now, if I go a bit up, if you look at here, we have a process input. Now the process input takes two params, two input param. One is input text and the other is action. Now the action is like I have translate to English, translate to Chinese, translate to Japanese, but you can have more languages that Qwen support, some European languages. And what I'm doing, if action and a basic prompt, you can see please translate the following text, blah blah blah. And then I have a else, which is like the default one. And what I'm doing is I have a simple message like a system kind of a prompt where I'm saying you are a helpful AI assistant. You can improve this depending on how you want to build the system. And then I'm applying a chat template because it's an instruction tuned model Qn2 1.5b. I can apply a chat template. So you can see that's what I'm doing here, passing the messages, the prompt which is by user input, and I'm just using some infer parameter over here for chat template, and then I'm tokenizing it. So you can see the model in. So basically, you cannot directly pass an English sentence to a LLM. Basically, you have to convert that to into the numerical representation of that text. So that's what we are doing here. You can see we're tokenizing it. So to tokenize the text, the prompt, and that basically gives you the tensor's value. And that's what I'm doing here. Now, once I do that, I'm going to pass that into the generate function. You can see language model.generate that takes your the IDs. So each of the tensors have an ID assigned to it. So that's what I'm passing it over here. And then max new tokens, like not, you can increase that, but 512 is good, for this translation thingy. And then I have generated ID. And again, you have to decode that. You can see I'm decoding it back to get the text out of it. So let's just run this. Now, once I run it, it's pretty simple. Now, let's write a function for uh, your text to speech thing. So I'm just going to write text to speech. And in the text to speech, what we're going to have, we're going to have two things, text and lang. Yeah, so that's right. So text and lang. And now I'm going to say TTES. I think this is fine. So you can see I'm just going to call it output audio. Now, what I'm doing is I'm passing two things, text and lang, and I'm saying text equal text and lang. Let's remove slow false. By default is that, and then GTT is text equal text and language equals language. So lang is nothing but the language. Now you can also define, yeah, that's fine. So tts.save, and then you can just pass the output audio.mp3, and let's just run this. You can also define the file name separately, and then you can pass the file name. Now this function is done, so you need one more function. So what I'm going to have, that's called handle interaction. So we're going to define a function called handle underscore interaction, and in this interaction we're going to pass the input text and the action. So let me just pass the input text and the action, and input text and the action, and here I'm going to define the output text, which is right. Let me just have a look. So you have output text language process input, and this process input is the function that we have written. You can see this is a function of process input, and in the process input we are passing the input text and action, and then I'm using this function called text to speech, and in the text to speech basically we can do it like that. Let me just do like this. I'm going to call it audio file name because I also want to show that. So audio file name, and then I'm going to pass text to speech output text lang, and then not only return the output text because I also want to show the audio in the Gradio app. So output text will anyway will show it, but audio file name, just to make it a bit more fancy. Now this define handle interaction, and we are good. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna define some action. We're gonna define some action options, and you can see this looks good. Translate to English, translate to Chinese, and translate to Japanese. And then we can also have chat, just like if you don't want to do translate, you can just chat with it. So this is my action option, which is like a list, and you can pass any other languages you want to bring up here as a more of a translation app. Translate to English, translate to Chinese, translate to Japanese, and the chat. Now let's do the Gradio thingy here. So I'm gonna app build a text here, markdown Gradio app, and then now I'm going to write the code. So Gradio app is like pretty much straightforward. So you have an interface. So I'm going to do it iFace, and I'm going to use gr.interface. Let me see what had is suggested. Yeah, I'm just going to get rid of this. Okay, so gr.interface. And now within this interface, I'm going to write my function. So you can see my function is nothing but the handle interaction. This is my function. And then I'm going to pass the inputs. So you can see the inputs. So first is gr inputs.text box. I'll not use like this. Okay, let me just get rid of this. I'm gonna pass inputs, and inputs can be a list, so you can define multiple inputs. Now in inputs, first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have a text box. So you do gr.text box, and within the text box, I'm gonna have a label, and in the label you can write input text. This is my label gr.text box, and then I can have a drop down. So let me just do a drop down. Yeah, you can see gr dot drop down. This suggestion is nice. And then you can have label choices and action options and label. Yeah, this is good. And then in the output, hold on for a second. This inputs are good. Now in output, you have output text, and in the audio, you have the output audio. That is fine. Now, once this is done, we're going to have title and description for this app. So let's do that. So I'm going to have title, and title can be title. You can give any title, guys. So what you're going to do is translation, and let me do like that. Okay, translation and chat app using Qwen 2. Okay, and or basically let's call it using AI, using LLM. It's not an AI by the way. Okay, title, and then I'm going to have a description here, so you can have a description. So let me just do a description, and you can give a description. So I'm going to have translate and chat, you know uh, translate and chat using the Qwen2 LLM, with audio with TTS features, something like this. Okay, and then one more thing, you can also define themes. So I'm going to have a theme, one of my favorite Gradio theme, which is the soft blue, which is the soft theme. So that's how you can bring up that theme. You can do Gradio soft. This looks good. So this is how you can define a theme. So what we are doing here, we have an I face, we have gradio.interface, and then I'm passing handle interactions, inputs, and input and outputs. That's what I have. So I have text box and drop down, for this, and then I have outputs, text box and audio. And then I have title, description, and theme. I'm good. So let me just run this. And you can see the theme has been, like a JSON file that has been downloaded. And you need that. You can use any other themes as well. There are some good dark themes as well. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this. So I'm going to say if name, and when you're doing iface.launch, make sure you do share equals to true if you want to share that, externally. Of course, you have to keep the session active. Now it's a Boolean value, so you should do share equals to true. If you do that, then you can open that in a new tab, and also you can share that. So let me just run this here, and hopefully it should work. And you can see it says this share link expires in 72 hours, for free permanent hosting. And you can see this is how the app currently looks like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this here, this Gradio application. Pretty simple and straightforward. We did it in like 15 minutes or something. You can see it has translate and chat using the Qwen 2 LLM with the TTS feature. So I'm going to write here like I am building an app or something like an application, and let's choose an action. So in the action I'm going to say translate to Chinese, for example. I want to translate that to Chinese, and you can see the output was so fast. Now we have got an output, and I don't know why the audio is not loaded, but we can see that okay, there's something wrong. Now I'm going to do one thing, Chinese to English. Now here you can see I'm developing an application. So what I did here, I said I'm building an application. So it was like close, yeah, but it didn't not the exactly same. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna also ask a question, how to run a Python app or a Python code. Okay. Now you can also select here chat, and in the chat you can submit it. And once you submit it, you can once you submit it, you'll find out what I'm saying. So yeah, it took a bit of time for the chat one. But the translation was fast. Yeah, but that's okay. I'll go back here in Gradio just to make sure there's nothing an error and all. Okay, that's fine. This looks good. Chat. Okay, let's come back here, and you can see it over here. I have to see the audio, probably something with the browser. And so if you look at here, it says if you're working in an IDE like PyCharm, Visual Studio Code, or any other IDE that supports Python, and you can see it over here. It also gives you the chat, and not only gives you the translation. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let me just copy this here. Let me copy this, and I'm going to use translate to Japanese and then submit. Now I'm doing translate to Japanese here. I want to see if the translation service for Japanese is working fine or not. So now this will take this text and then it will translate it to Japanese. So I'm using a model that supports all of these languages and which is pretty small in size, like using Qwen. And yeah, you can see I think we got that. This is fantastic, right? And I hope this is correct. You can check it in Google. Like here you have Chinese, you can select Japanese. So let me just select Japanese, and here I am gonna copy all this. And once I copy it, and you can see, yeah, this is fine. So it's working cool. Now audio, I'm not sure if, let me just remove, probably I'm doing something wrong. But what if I remove the theme? Is it not supported? And I'll just get rid of this. Title, description, let's look at the default theme. Something, probably the file name. Again, I have to recheck the code if I'm doing something wrong, but yeah, that's okay. Output text. This should do. Probably I'm doing something wrong in my code. Okay. Now I'm gonna say how to write an email. Okay, and or let me just write what is 2 plus 2. You know, this is what I'm asking. In the actions, I can support chat. Now there's something wrong with our sum of 2 equals 4. Okay, cool. Let me try to debug a bit quickly, if I can. Otherwise, you guys can have a look, not a big deal. Okay, in the gr.audio, I think that is fine. We should get the audio. And here we are getting the audio file name. Hopefully, I've defined it correct. Yeah, this function is okay. So what's wrong with the text to speech text lang and text lang? This is also good. TTS save audio file. Ah, okay, 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 okay. Okay, let me do it like this. Okay, so I should just return. Yeah, and I have to return the file name. My bad, so dumb. Okay, now this can become return file name. Yeah, and this should now do, guys. Okay, I like forgot to return that. Okay, now here I can bring up the theme, which is like Gradio soft theme here, where it looks nice. So I'm just gonna bring up that theme here. I thought there's something wrong with the theme, but my code was not good. And Gradio soft. And if we run this now, and let's open this here, this new thingy. And now you can see it over here. This, yeah, it takes a bit of time to load, but that's fine. Okay, now let me, all right, what is, no, not what is, who won? What would I ask? That's the problem with the, what is the definition of universe? This is the question that I'm asking. What is the definition of universe? And I'm gonna keep this chat, and hopefully the audio should load this time. Let's see that. Okay. Yeah, perfect.
The, u- the universe refers to all of space and time, including everything that exists, as well as everything that might exist in the future or past.
You can see how good it is. Now you can also increase that. If you look at it, you can make it a bit fast forward and
Infinite
volume.
past and infinite future.
So you can make it a bit fast, like or 1.5x, 2x kind of a thing. This is what I wanted to create, guys. Good for as a hobby project to get started with. If you want to build an app kind of a thing, you can also deploy this application on Hugging Face Spaces. So you can go to Hugging Face Space, just open Hugging Face Spaces. Here on the Hugging Face space, you can deploy, you can create a new space, and in the new space, you can say Gradio, and you can do like blank and 16 GB, two CPUs. Uh, is it like you can have a look, right? You can see the free one is probably it will not might give you an error on free, but yeah, this is how you can do it. You can give it a name. This is how you can, excuse me. This is how you can give a name. Select Apache 2.0 because the model probably be Apache, so I cannot give an MIT over here. And yeah, this all good. And then you can have a public, create spaces, and then push your file over there as the Gradio file, and hopefully that should work. But if you want to do that, you can also, let me tell you that if you want to show it on resume or deployed app, what you can do, you can change this way of inferencing or loading the model. You can use Hugging Face API, HF API to do that, and just you can deploy it here. I'm not deploying it, but you can create a new space and do that. That's all for this video, guys. I I just wanted to create something quick for the beginners. This is not for the expert people, but for somebody who wants to, make these kind of things, translations, chat all together. You can also take input from speech. So you can again use speech to text kind of a thing, to take input like Whisper model or something, and then combine this and make a end-to-end app. That's all. The code will be available on my GitHub repository. So if you have any question, thoughts, or feedbacks, let me know in the comment box. You can also reach out to me through my social media channels. If you like the content, please hit the like icon. If you haven't subscribed the channel yet, please do subscribe the channel, guys. That motivates me to create more such videos in near future. You can also join our Discord community. I'll give the link in description. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.